Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I have a very clean and simple and quick card that's full of texture, color, and, well, fun. To see that project, stick around. It's coming up next. Here's a look at the supplies I'm going to be using today, and this is such a simple way to make a quick, fun card. I am going to use a piece of the Simon Says Stamp Color Blend paper, and this is a pack of cardstock that has these lovely blends already in the paper. So you can take any one of these, right? The colors are beautiful, and it's a nice sort of a coated stock. And I'm going to use one of these panels with my embossing folder, and this is the Rhythmic Waves. It's a really cool pattern. And then I'm going to top it with a die. So let's get started. I think I'll do, oh, I'm such a sucker for the pinks. I'm going to use this right here. And let me grab my paper trimmer because I want to cut this before I emboss it to the size panel I want it to be. I'm going to cut this down. I actually want to preserve as much of the light as possible. Let's cut this to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. All right, I just didn't want to cut after I have the beautiful texture in here. All right, let me grab my die cut machine. So I've got my Intri-Cut machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it here to 3D emboss, and I am going to change the pressure to go all the way down to -5, all right, because that is a good setting for the Simon 3D folders. And then what I'm going to do is I've got the platform itself, but we're not going to use the cutting pad that goes with this. So that's going to sit right here. Now, one of the things I like to do with my 3D folders is I like to put a label on the top so that I know if I have something with a pattern, I want it to push up into the pattern side. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get this lined up here right in the center like that and close it. And now we'll just run this through, and I'm going to use the folded side of the folder first, and we're going to go through. And now I have a quick and simple pattern, oh, come here now, embossed into, see that beautiful texture in there? It's just such a quick, fun way. And you can do this, of course, look at that, isn't that fun? With any embossing folder and a pre-done blended panel. All right, moving on. I went ahead and cut out a bunch of layers here for my greeting, and I just took the corner blend of this color because I thought it would look really cool to have a repeating blend. So you can save and cut out of these pieces as well because everything kind of goes together in a rainbow, and I think that's very cool. So I've got a shadow layer here, and I've glued 2 shadow layers together, and then all I'm going to do is take some liquid glue and add it to the back. And I'm going to build up the dimension right here on the shadow layer. I just find this to be an easier way. But this way, I'm going to have a nice dimensional layer. This is Connect glue that I'm using on my die cut. And I have a little piece of grip mat that I cut, which is a really nice surface to glue on. And I kind of forgot about that. And now I'm trying it out again because it also kind of holds your cardstock while you're putting things down. And so I will continue to add all of my layers and build everything up with the cardstock and the glue. Just like that. It's really easy to line it up on the shadow layer. Press that down. And I will repeat. Now I just pop on this layer here to finish. Well, we're not quite finished. We have to add the dot over the eye. Okay, so once I get that wiggled into place like that, right? And that's what I like about, oh, it sticks so much, it's hard to move it. That's what I like about liquid glue. It just gives you that second to kind of wiggle everything in place so that it looks nice. And of course now, oh, get that end down there. This also has that bit of sheen to match this panel here. But then we need to add on the dot over the or J, which is called a tittle. And again, we do this right on the base because it's just easier to glue it that way than to try to hold these little pieces of cardstock with your fingers, right? You just kind of pop that right there. And one more little dab of glue for the blendy layer to finish. Like that. And then I will just pop a brick on and press. I've got a piece of Nina Classic Crest in Solar White, the same I used to build up and do my shadow layer here. This is 11 inches by 4 1/4. I'm going to score it right at 5 1/2 to create my top folding portrait oriented card. I'll fold that down. And then I'm going to use my Teflon bone folder to make sure this has a really nice crack-free crease. All right, that looks great. Now I will tape this closed because it's such thick cardstock that it always pops open, and I really need to have this be flat while I'm placing my card. I've got some Big Mama foam tape here on the back of my panel, and I like this tape because it's got a lower loft, so it's going to create a little separation from the base, but it's not too popped up, and I really like that. And now I'll just pop this down onto the panel. I like to stand up when I'm doing this because I find it to be really hard to see all the sides, so excuse my little fuzzy head if it gets in the way. And we are going to pop that right there. So now I just have that nice framing margin, but look at that cool pattern that's in there. It's so pretty. I love it so much. All right, popped here. I also have thin foam squares on the back here, and I'll just get those off real quick. I will add just a little bit of liquid glue so that I can get my placement right. Bring in my T-square, which helps me to visualize. The liquid glue just gives a little bit of float time. And I'm going to pop it right in the center, I think. Yeah. I mean, this is not a hard one to line up. Just looking at the letters from side to side. Maybe up a little like that. This is why I like the glue, but I think that looks good. I'm going to bring this right to the edge just to make sure. This is my little 6-inch T-ruler as we press that down. Now that would be good just to finish on its own. I'm going to see what it would look like with just a few gems. I actually dumped the whole thing out. These are the Warm Tones Pawsitively Dazzling Gems, and they're a mix of colors, and I knew that the purple would be perfect for this card, and just for a little finishing touch, right? So I am going to take my liquid glue and add these to my panel. Just a little like that. Boop. All right. And 5 is a nice odd number, maybe a little more. Pick you up and boop. Pop you down just for a little tone-on-tone color. I think this is really fun. And an easy way to finish it off. Again, you would not need to, boop. But sometimes if you do have a colored gem or sequin or enamel dot, boop, it's a great way to finish off a project. Boop. Just like that. So that is a look at the texture and how you can take one of those blend panels and just make a really simple card. I think that turned out really nicely and so easy to do. There are so many beautiful 3D embossing folders. This is just a very graphic minimal one, but hopefully that inspires you to check out some of the panels and the embossing folders today. Before I wrap this card up though, I am going to stamp a greeting on the inside using my Just a Note notes. I've been loving this set because it's just a nice way to add something to the inside of the card. And I wanted to show you this because I'm going to be using my Misty tool for this, because if I were to just put it on a block and go, I'd probably mess it up. But the thing I love about the Misty, I have a grip mat in here to hold this in place. You can just put your card in like that, right? Press it down on the grip mat. And when I go to stamp this, this can be hanging out and it's not going to hurt the card. So I am going to add, you know what? I'm going to pull one that I haven't used yet. I love this greeting. So we're going to pop it on here right in the center. That looks straight enough. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I think that will be nice. Then I can pick this up. Again, it's very sticky, so I got to place this back down, hang that out. I am going to just prime this a little by running my finger over it. And I thought that I would pull this color Taffy because it's going to be a nice kind of cohesive match for the inside. And I'm going to ink this up like that. Bring this down and just transfer the greeting by holding and letting that ink transfer. And now I have this beautiful color coordinated greeting for the inside of my card. And that finishes today's Easy with CZ. You can find links to all the products I used in today's video in my YouTube description box. I'll have a link to the visual supply list if you want to check out any of the products I used. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, I'd love to have you, so hit that subscribe button and be sure to hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. Thanks for watching and have a great day. To see more projects featuring this Just a Note die set, check out the 2 thumbnails I have linked below, and I'll see you in those videos.